My dear students, today we shall cover up the present prescribed chapter, The Address, written by Marga Minko. But before I proceed the chapter, let us talk about some facts of it and the justification of the title. When first time I went through this chapter, a feeling of nostalgia seems to have taken over me. It inspired me a lot and quite significantly with its simplistic storytelling. A striking feature of this story is that the author has portrayed a multiple emotions right from betrayal to melancholy, means grief and sadness and everything in between. Marga Minko, who was a Dutch journalist, has highlighted the fact that dwelling in the past only ends up adding to the emotion turmoil, means a great commotion of emotions. I mean, when you feel disturbed, when you think of past, which give you pain and agitation to a person who might be going through in his or her life. Let us talk about the setting of this story. The setting of this story is the place somewhere at Holland in Germany, and the time period of the story is in between the World War II. At that time, Hitler had sent Nazi soldiers to capture Jews and to put them in concentration camps. And what is the concentration camps? A concentration camp was the place where Jews were tortured physically and emotionally. Thus, the story begins with the incident the narrator feels herself. Now, let us talk about the justification of the title. It means it is appropriate or not. The story is all about the address that the author had received from her mother years ago so that she can reclaim her belongings back after the war. And so the title is fully justified. Okay, let us go ahead on the next slide. It is the introduction. The Address by Marga Minko narrates the story of a lady, possibly the author herself, who after losing her entire family in the Holocaust returns to the address in order to collect all her family's possessions that the author's mother had left with Mrs. Dorling, a non-Jewish lady, before leaving her homeland. Okay, now we will talk about the background of the story. It means that what the message the author wanted to say through this story. The Address by Marga Minko revolves around the theme of crisis that we as an individual encounter in our daily life. War brings destruction, pain, and loss of the lives, which impact humans in various ways. However, this story speaks about the narrator and mother's life, how they are disrupted due to war. Okay, let us start the summary of this chapter. Holland was fighting for independence. The narrator had joined the forces. It was a long drawn and deadly war. Success seemed a far cry. The people doubted if any of the soldiers would return alive. So this was the story that has been taken from Holland, where Second World War was going on and everybody was scared if the war is going to be end or not. The narrator had only her mother, Mrs. S, at home. So narrator just used to live with her mother and only two persons were living in the room. Her mother was worried about the safety of her belongings. She had a lot of silver, cutlery and antiques. One day, an old acquaintance of her turned up unexpectedly. She was Mrs. Dorling. She won the confidence of Mrs. S and offered to take away Mrs. S. precious things to her own home for safekeeping, and Mrs. S. accepted the offer thankfully. So hereby we came to know that how her mother, means that the author's mother was very scared about her belongings because the war was going on and any time belongings were be snatched by the Nazis or Hitler soldiers. So there was a very great confusion and chaos, and also there was commotion and fear and scared in the heart of all the Jews. And one day what happened that one of the acquaintances of the author's mother just came to home and offered to take away Mrs. S precious thing so that it can be at the house of Mrs. Dodd. The narrator was home for a few days during the first half of the war. She noticed the change in the room. She missed several things. She surprised the mother by her keen observation. It was then that Mrs. S told her about Mrs. Darling, who had kindly taken away all the table, silver, vases, antique plates, crockery. Mrs. Darling promised to keep all those nice things safely. So here the narrator just noticed that her belongings, her precious things at home were just missing away. There was something that was not at the home, and she just asked her mother that where was the things, and the mother told her that things have been taken away by Mrs. Darling at her home so that it can be saved. Mrs. S, however, did not get an assurance that those things were returnable. So hereby we came to know that Mrs. S has not been an assurance by Mrs. Darling that the things will be returnable or not, that Mrs. Darling will return the things or not. Next morning, Mrs. Darling turned up again, means that she just came up once again at the house of Mrs. S. This broad-backed woman was taking away the heavy suitcase stuffed with things. The mother introduced the narrator to Mrs. Darling. It was the first time the girl had met her. Mrs. Darling lived in Marconi Street, house number 46. You have to remember this address because it can be appear in the examination. The mother told the daughter to remember the address, and she did remember it for a long time. So here once again Mrs. Darling came to Mrs. S house and just taken away heavy suitcase stored with many things in that, and the author just came to know about Mrs. Darling for the first time. Also, Mrs. S told her daughter that she used to live in Marconi Street and the house number of Mrs. Darling was 46. After the war of liberation had come to an end, the narrator returned to her city. Gradually, everything became more normal again. So the war has ended up, and all the people have their liberation, and all things gradually just become more and more normal again. And one day, the narrator was reminded of all her possessions. The mother was no more alive, and only our author was living in the house. So she was alone, living in a single room. There was no space to recover all those things and keep them in that room. So the room was very small and no more things can be fitted in that room. Still she wanted to see them and touch them once. So she travelled by train to Marconi Street and rang the doorbell of house number 46. But the author just wanted to have all those things because it was her mother's belongings. So she just boarded a train to Marconi Street and rang the doorbell of house number 46 where Mrs. Darling used to live. A woman opened the door partly. Then a woman opened the door, but it was not completely opened. Through the narrow opening, she studied the visitor. Means that the woman just watched very carefully the visitor. She was Mrs. Darling herself. She hadn't expected the girl to come back home alive. She refused to recognize the visitor. The narrator for a while wondered if she had come to the wrong place. So hereby we came to know that Mrs. Darling didn't recognize that it was Mrs. A's daughter and she was alive because the war was going on and the Nazis were just capturing the Jews and they were murdering them. So this was a surprise to Mrs. Darling. When Mrs. Darling just rejected that she didn't know that girl, so once a while narrator feels that she had come to a wrong place. But her doubt was removed when she saw Mrs. Darling wearing her mother's green knitted cardigan. But suddenly the author just noticed a green knitted cardigan worn by Mrs. Darling and she just recognized that she had come at a very right place. So she had come to the right address. Mrs. Darling could not help asking how she alone had survived the war. Mrs. Darling just asked the narrator that how she would manage to survive there. She refused to let the visitor into the house. She closed the door also. The narrator looked at the nameplate again. But Mrs. Darling didn't let her get into the home and also she closed the door. The narrator just looked at the nameplate and there was a text written as Darling number 46. So she walked back to the station and traveled back the memory lane. Her first visit to Mrs. Darling's house was in vain. So in a very desperate mood she just walked back to a memory lane and she thought that the first visit was just useless. She didn't go there. But she didn't accept defeat. She decided to try a second time. So the author didn't want to have a defeat and that is why she decided to visit once again at that place. This time Mrs. Darling's 15-year-old daughter opened the door. But this time Mrs. Darling was not at the home. This time Mrs. Darling's daughter, who was 15 years old, just opened the door. Mrs. Darling wasn't at home. The narrator decided to wait. So narrator decided that she will wait at that place in the room. She followed the girl along the passage and she saw her heavy candle holders hung next to a mirror. So she just followed the girl along the passage and there she noticed that there was a heavy candle holding next to a mirror and she was taken to the living room. So Mrs. Darling's daughter just took our narrator to a living room. She found herself in the midst of things which she wanted to see, but she was pained to see them arranged in a tasteless way. Now she found herself that she was in the midst of things that belonged to her, and she wanted to see, she wanted to touch them, but she felt very pained to see that all the things were arranged in a very bad manner. They were not neat and clean. They were not arranged in a very good manner. So that is why the narrator feels very pained and heavy in the heart. The furniture was ugly and the air was damp smelling. She sat down at a table and noticed that the tablecloth was hers. Suddenly, she began to notice all the things. She noticed that the furniture was ugly and the air in the room was damp smelling. She also sat down at a table where she noticed that the tablecloth was hers and it had a burn mark to the edge, left unrepaired by her mother. She noticed that there was a burn mark on the edge and it was not repaired by her mother at that time. The girl said that her mother would be back soon and she had already made tea for her. So the girl said that her mother would be back soon and she had already made tea for her. The girl offered a cup to the visitor as well. She opened a box and took some spoons out. So here the girl just offered a cup of tea to the visitor, and she opened a box and she took some spoons out from them. All those things were part of the narrator's mother's belongings. So all those things the girl was taking out from the drawers, and somewhere else it was belonged to her mother. She realized that one got so very used to things that one didn't notice them intently. So she just realized that one got means the person who was living at that room, at that house, used that thing so much frequently that they didn't realize that the things were very, very important and precious. They were made of silver. Mrs. Darling's daughter also never noticed that the cutlery she used every day was silver. Hereby, the author just informed Mrs. Darling's daughter that they were made of silver, and it was the first time that Mrs. Darling's daughter noticed that the things were made of silver. She opened a drawer to bring out more spoons and forks. But the narrator didn't wait to see them. She didn't want to meet Mrs. Darling, so she jumped up to go to catch her train. The author feels so painful that she didn't want to see them, that and just she jumped up to go to catch her train and to go back her village. At the corner of the road, she looked up at the nameplate. Now, when she was out of the house, then she noticed at the corner of the road, and she just looked up at the nameplate. The address was correct, but she didn't want to remember it anymore. She had no intention to visit that house again. She had lost interest in the things that had been taken away from her house and put in strange surroundings. So hereby the author was so much disheartened. She feels very pain in her heart, and that is why she didn't want to remember all those things which were once hers. She didn't want to remember the address also. Moreover, she had no need of them in her small rented room. Moreover, she had no need of them in her small rented room. Only a handful of cutlery fitted in the narrow table drawer. So she made up her mind to forget that address forever, and it was quite easy to do now. So she thinks that there is no need of them in her small rented room. She was much better without those things. She also thought that there was so much things that at only a handful of cutlery were just fitted in the narrow table drawer, and she made up her mind to forget that address forever, and it was quite easy to do now. It was quite easy to forget all them for her.